Thank you. Thanks everybody showing up here. It's a real honor to be in this collection with these people, these artists. These are a lot of my heroes. And, excuse me. But all are gone now, but they're really good folks. You know, taught me a lot. I went to Sam Houston to be a game warden, and I didn't really like that. And I took a drawing class, and I said, "Oh, this is a lot more fun," you know. And so I started taking art classes, and then I took a sculpture class. And Charles Pebworth, I guess, kind of recognized I was a little different, you know, with materials. We were supposed to be doing bronze, but all I didn't want to do was play with sticks and glue and nail stuff together. So he said, "Here, he brought me a bunch of stuff to work with." So he brought it to me and said, "Here, do this, make this stuff out of old tin cans and stuff." You know, so he inspired me to kind of follow my own vision, which at Sam Houston was a really good time because they didn't have a real heavy dogma of teaching certain styles or anything. They kind of just kind of go flow with what you want to do. This piece particularly, at the time I was doing a lot of stuff out of wood and found objects. I was already out of college when I'd done this piece. I'd stayed in Huntsville because it was very, very cheap to live, and I was taking care of an old folk artist named Reverend Johnny Swearingen at the time. And he was a painter, and I was a sculptor. And we were both living over on 19th Street, and we had Sam Houston's old slave house as our studio. And I would get out during the day and go pick up sticks around the neighborhood and make all these sculptures out in my yard, making kind of an environment. And he'd always say, "Oh boy, you quit messing with them sticks, you need a paint." You know, he said, "You need a paint like I do," you know. So he was always trying to get me a paint. But I like doing sculpture. So one day I was walking, I'd take walks around the block looking for stuff, and I was walking by Sam Houston's old farmhouse in Huntsville, and they were cutting these old hackberry trees down. And this piece was laying out on the sidewalk. And I was like, "Oh wow, that was like a woodpecker." And so I picked it up, carried it home, and at that time we were getting a lot of these pileated woodpeckers in the neighborhood. Those giant woodpeckers you see. And they look like dinosaurs, really. They're really loud and very weird looking. And they were all over the avenues. And so it was kind of just one of those magical moments. You know, just stuff happens, you know. And I was working real intuitively, and I grew up on a ranch. I still live on the ranch, and so I have a lot of cow bones. So I'd always get these cow bones and try to figure out the shapes, what they look like, kind of matrix them in my mind, what they look like, and put them together like a puzzle. And so you know, I saw these jaw bones. I said, "They look like wings." So I just met Reverend Hunter that did this piece over here with the walking stick, the professor and the fisherman, and he was using a really cool mixture. He called it mache. He was using sawdust and wood glue. And I said, "That looks good. It's hard. It's easy to paint." And so that's what being inspired by him and hanging with him, that's the same kind of mache I used on the wings and the body. And that turned into that piece. Now I did another one like this that was more curved, and it was on I was doing these wall hanging pieces that were made out of old doors, and I'd paint scenes on the doors, and I'd have these birds coming off the door. For some reason, this didn't get put on the door, probably because I liked it there, just hanging on the wall. But the other one, I think George Russell has it in his collection. I had a landlord that would trade me art for rent every month. He's got all the early stuff. He'd come over every month and say, "I want that one and that one and that one." You know, and I said, "Okay, how many, is that 3 months?" Because that's 1 month. And so he has a lot of these pieces from that era. I was doing a lot of stuff with wood and bones at the time. This piece is, oh my gosh, it's 20 years old. Hard to believe it. So that's kind of the story behind that piece. I'm back on the ranch. I moved to Wasatch for a while, lived in Dallas for a while, moved to Colorado for a while, did art cars. And then I'm back at the ranch, old family farm. And I got plenty of bones. I got plenty. A hackberry tree just fell down.
He's making an owl right now with some of the bones.
Memorial Day weekend, my wife, I was playing guitar on the porch, and my wife said, "There's a tornado." I'm like, "No, there's not." And she was looking out the window, and the hackberry tree fell and almost hit her house.
It's like
So
from
I've
here to
got
there.
a lot of hackberry, that I had to cut up. So I've been making some more of these pieces. But I usually work two-dimensional and three-dimensional off and on. Usually in the wintertime I work outside with the sculpture, but lately, since I have all this material laying around I gotta do something with, I've been working in the heat. So I work out in the front part of the ranch house underneath all the shade trees. So that's my studio. So.
And Andy, you visited probably over half of the artists that are in here.
Oh yeah, David Strickland's a good friend of mine. I met him a long time ago. Carl Nash, not Carl Nash. Is this Carl Nash? No, Isaac Smith. Isaac Smith. He used to up at camp and make sculpture, but I hadn't seen him in about 20 years. So I took him fishing one time in Huntsville, and he cut open a fish he'd caught, had a worm in it, and he thought I put a curse on his fishing. That's the last time I've seen him. So it's been a long time ago. Reverend Hunter is a great friend of mine. Oh gosh, Sultan Rogers, go visit him. Oh my gosh, Son Thomas, used to go visit him. He played blues for us and I had one of his skulls.
Which has real teeth
Ike
in
Morgan,
it.
great artist. Still alive in Austin. Oh my gosh, there's a bunch of them. Ex-Mayor and Sherry from Beaumont. You should go visit them quite a bit. Well, there's just tons of them, and it's great. It's a great collection. Thank you so much for including me in this. It really means a lot.
Does anyone have any questions for Andy? No? Okay, maybe later. All right, Earl. Follow me into the next gallery, and we'll listen to Earl.